I've been collecting dolls for a really long time, and I can honestly say that I've only come across a few haunted dolls. These dolls just seem to have a different aura about them. They change, seem to change the mood in the room. Other dolls seem to be affected by this doll's presence, their aura. Lights and shadows cascade across their faces differently. The atmosphere seems a little changed. These dolls, these dolls are always secondhand dolls whose owners had put a little bit too much of the wrong energy into the doll. So maybe you've had experiences like this. I mean, there's the traditional oddity when you come home and the doll is on the floor, except where it's fallen is kind of far from where it was once positioned. The trajectory a little off. One day I purchased a toy. This story's not as bad as some of the others. I put it on the shelf next to another doll, and it seemed like the face of that doll changed a little. Call it the lighting. The next day I found the new doll on the floor. It's like, oh, that's nothing really. I just put it back up on the shelf. You know, move it back in a little further, adjust it, maybe make it lean back a bit so it doesn't fall over. An hour later, the doll was back on the floor. I don't know what's going on with this doll, you know. I try repositioning it again. I look over at the doll next to it, and this time the doll seems to be a little smug with a smirk on its face. I'm like, okay, I don't think these two dolls get along. So I move the doll to another location, and the doll never falls again. But I have had incidences where I could tell, like, something about the whole room changed. Just a feeling. Call it a crazy lady thing, who knows. But that doll, no matter where I put it in that room, always ended up on the floor. I ended up having to get rid of that doll. And I really never thought about these incidences too much again, unless somebody would mention, like, a creepy doll. Then these incidences would come across my mind. But just recently, I've had a couple of incidences. One of which I'm not going to pay too much mind to, but I'll tell you the story. I have a Sailor Moon doll collection. They all sat up there on the very top shelf for about 2 years. They all have doll stands. I haven't touched any of them until recently. I decided I wanted to slowly body swap them. I only touched one in the front, Sailor Moon. And I did a body swap. I placed her back up in the front with the other dolls. And you know what? I don't know what happened. Maybe Sailor Moon was being her annoying self, bragging about her new body. I'm not sure, but somehow Professor Tomoe had fallen, bypassed a couple of the other Sailor Scouts and villains near him, and shoved Sailor Moon clear off the shelf. Well, he's a villain, so he's doing his job. But what brings this up at this time is I bought a couple of haunted dolls. It's not like I went out of my way to do it. I just became really interested in these live dolls. And the first set that I came across was this pair in hand-knit clothing. You see, what I was really interested in was Jake, the male doll that was part of the set. Everyone was selling him for way too much. One person almost as much as $70. But here, these two were only $18. That means Jake was only $9. That's a steal. However, aren't haunted things usually on sale? I paid no mind. The dolls came in and they had a really bad aura. She looked smug and irritated. he was pissed. The way I usually try to resolve these things, I let them be in the new environment. I hope that the dark energy and the dark spirits that have collected within these dolls releases. If it doesn't get rid of them, I get rid of them. There are many cultures that believe in evil dolls like voodoo. There are many cultures that believe that inanimate objects can hold spiritual energy. And movies about creepy dolls don't come from nowhere. First thing I do is remove the hand-knitted clothing. Hand-knitted clothes take energy and time. It's very unusual to see hand-knitted clothing on dolls. It was actually much easier to get rid of the negative energy on the female doll. I changed her clothes to more modern clothing that were joyfully colored. And I placed her around dolls that were roughly her doll age. My sister came by to visit, and immediately she looked over and said, "Those are creepy dolls." I agreed. Said, "Yeah, they have a bad aura." She wasn't into that theory. She brushed it off and said, "Must be the glass eyes." Now, I placed these dolls with Rainbow High, who have glass eyes. I also have Disney ILY dolls that also have glass eyes, and she's never said anything about any of them. In fact, the Liv doll that I bought after this, that I thought might be creepy because her glass eyes open and close, didn't set off any signals either. But these two, I brought that up. She just settled on that she wasn't sure what it was. New wigs came in shortly after, and by this time, the girl was fine. The next time my sister was over, she didn't get the vibe anymore. I had gotten more Liv dolls, and she couldn't tell the difference. She said, "There's still something off about the guy." And I said, "It's taking him a minute." By this time, I wiped his eyebrows from being too close to his nose. I felt it would reduce the angry look, and I altered his hairstyle also. I was worried the main reason I got these in the first place, for him, was going to be a waste. But I could tell that the aura was slowly dissipating. And now, he's happy-go-lucky.
My owner was an older lady. She bought us because we looked so much like her children. She even hand-knit us clothing. She missed her children so much. Every time she missed them, she would look over at us, take us off the shelf and stare at us. Her daughter would come over, but not too often. She was busy and had a new family. They had moved out of the state, so it was hard to visit. Her daughter's husband's family took precedence, so she was left alone. I represented her daughter.
I represented her son. He never visited. They always argued. He only called if he wanted money or needed something. He was the problem child, the black sheep. She wondered how she managed to raise someone like him. He made her so mad. Sometimes she would take me off the shelf and just glare at me. She would squeeze me so hard, I thought at one point she was going to smack my head right into the counter. She would just grit her teeth, place me back on the shelf, and yet, she wished he would visit, because she was alone. Then she passed, and soon that same son would sell me for money. But the demons of my past are gone, and forgiveness comes from moving on.
The darkness from my past, it comes to haunt you. You hope it doesn't last, and so I taunt you. is deep.